How do you determine someone's salary? Well, most employers, they have a salary table. And the salary table has something like the experience that the person has, seniority, and perhaps other factors. Now, a lot of times this is sensitive information and it's hard to kind of publish that externally. But with workflows, integrating with an actual spreadsheet, you can make this perfectly autonomous and how a manager can put in simple inputs like the person's seniority and job type, and then a salary table will figure out the rest. And in this demo, I want to show you exactly how we did that. Now, we have a spreadsheet here on the right side with a salary table, and we have a workflow here that we've built. And roughly how it works is that a person is going to start by filling out a form. And the second that that person fills out the form, what's going to happen is that the system is going to calculate the salary in this salary table. It's then going to have an AI pick the right monetary value that was calculated, the actual person's annual salary. It's going to put that into a document here. It has an offer letter ready, and it's going to fill out the offer letter and replace this curly bracer salary number here with the actual annual salary that the person has. And once it's done that, it's then going to convert the document into a PDF. Now, it could obviously do way more things. It could send this as in an email, convert it into something for e-signing and send it to the employee. But for the demonstration purposes of this use case here, we're just going to keep it simple. Now, before I go into the salary table and all the details, I just want to show you how it works. So if we just go to settings here, we've built a fairly simple form here that I'm just going to open up and fill out. So I'm just going to put in a person's name here, just Mr. Burns here, Burns at 50skills.com. Let's just call it Joe Burns. And this is a very senior person who's just starting at the company. I'm just going to send this response in. Now, what I just filled out here, imagine that this was a manager. Whenever they're hiring someone, they just need to fill out this form, send it in, nothing else. And let's take a look at what happens next. Well, they just filled it in. So if I just click the journey here, I should have a Joe Burns here that just filled this out. And all these steps have turned green, which means that they've all been completed. Now, the first step was to calculate the person's salary based on this salary calculator here. And we'll take a look at that in a second. It then got the AI to find the actual annual salary number, put that in a contract, and convert it into this particular document with the results of $54,000 that the person should have for an annual salary. Now, let's take a look at step by step what actually happened here, starting with the actual calculator. So the calculator here, it's just a salary table that says find the job type. If it's an entry, if it's someone who's senior or an entry level joining the job, and then give them a value between 1 and 1.5, depending on what was selected. And in this case, we had a senior picked out, so we're just going to update that into 1.5 here. And then it looked at how long this person has worked for the company. And in our case, I think we put a starter, which is 1.2. And because of that, it's going to come to the conclusion that the person's annual salary should be $54,000. You can here see in the salary table all the different options depending on what was selected, just as a reference to take a look at this. And if we take a look at the process here on the left side, this is what happened. The first step was an integration with a tool called Grid, which can power your spreadsheet. So the spreadsheet that I built here on the right side, that's actually something that I connected with 50 Skills. And when I triggered this integration, it went and looked at the spreadsheet and it updated these two fields. And if I just click on this, as you can see here, it went to value B6, which is this cell here. And it made sure that the value there was 1.5, just like I did manually now. It then went and took cellular here, B7, and then updated that with 1.2. And because of that, it's going to read the value from B9, which is going to be 54,000. And as you can see here, that's exactly the value that it returned. Now, it returned this in what we call JSON code, which is sort of tricky to figure out, like, for people that are not familiar with coding at any level, they might, be a little bit confused at what they're looking at here. So what we did, we just added this simple AI action with a simple prompt that just said, hey, you're going to be looking at this JSON string here, and it's going to give you a value that looks like this. Just make sure that you look at the dollar value here and don't return anything else. And that's exactly what the AI did. It took a look at all this information here, and it took a look at the actual info that was returned, and it figured out, okay, this is 54,000, and that's why the output that I'm gonna give is just 54,000. We then gave the system instructions. We uploaded a Word document, and we said, hey, update these fields with the actual person's salary, put the company name and the person's name, and convert that into a PDF. And that's why you have what you can see here. Now, a couple of things that I haven't looked at in the deep dive for those of you who are still watching. How did the system actually know that entry was 1 and senior was 1.5? Well, if we go into the configurations here of the journey, I can just go into settings here and click the actual form that's being built. I can click the job type here, and you can see the options are entry, intermediate, and senior. And I can either, when I'm putting these options in, and I can either type in here entry, intermediate, senior, or I can pick a predefined list. And that's exactly what I did. I had a list called job type, and that list has these 3 options. And the options, it both has the label and the value. So here you can see the label entry, intermediate, senior. But if you actually go and take a look at the lists here that we have, I'm just going to search for the right one here, grid. You can see that grid job type list has the label of entry and the value of 1. And that's why whenever you pick entry, I can select to use the value of 1 to update these journeys. The same happens to seniority and other lists that you might use. So if I just go and show you how this is configured, I basically tell the system, hey, in the value here that you're sending, make sure to pick here from the actual list here, make sure to pick the actual value, not the label. So the value from that list, send that over. So go to cell B6 and put and make sure to update it with the value that you picked from that list. Do the same with B7, which is here, the years worked. And that's how you can actually calculate these things automatically. The prompt itself also, here I give it the instructions on what to do, but then I make sure to actually give it the output from the grid system to be able to come to the conclusion what the job annual salary should be. Then I simply have a Word doc that I've uploaded. And in the Word doc, I can see that the Word doc here has these curly braces, dear name in curly braces. And what the system does, it can replace those with the person's actual name, with the company actual name, and the base salary that that person has. So fairly simple to do that. I just pick here the salary. It should be the value from the AI, because remember, I had the grid system calculate the salary within integration with the spreadsheet. I then had the AI return just that value, nothing else. And then I'm also updating the company name here with the company name and the person's full name, which I already had access to when the form was filled out. And then what I'm doing, I'm just converting this into a PDF, and I can even configure what the values of the PDF here is. So this automatically works. I can, of course, add other steps. I could have, let's just send this in an email to the person and go, here is your job offer. And you can actually add the attachment here with field mapping and just say, hey, I want to send the converted document in an email. Just go, hey, here is your job offer. And of course, this could be written in a more professional way, but I'm just going to show you how easy this is. Publish these changes. I'm going to go back here into Joe Burns. I'm just going to reset the journey for this particular travel here. Reset it. Start it again. And as you can see, the same exact process is going to run. It's going to start the event. It's going to calculate the salary. It's going to come to the same conclusion because it's the same spreadsheet. AI is going to find the same output. It's going to create the document, put it in a PDF, but now it also sent this in an email to burns@50skills.com, leaving the actual contract in an email. So I hope you like what you saw, and highly encourage you guys to take a look at these integrations powered by Spreadsheet. Thank you.